Hi kids and possibly parents, it's Teacher Patty again, and I have a really fun experiment you can do at home using gummy bears. And to help me with this experiment today, I have my special assistant,
Theia.
So, this is a cool experiment because it is a nice way to introduce the idea of using the scientific method. So, to explain what that is, there's 5 parts: observation, question, research and hypothesis, experiment, analysis, and conclusion. Now, the thing is, obviously, if you were doing this with older children, or even if you were a scientist and using this, it would be more complex. But for our experiment, we're going to keep it pretty simple. So first, let me explain the materials you'll need. Of course, the most important material and most delicious are some gummy bears. I chose these. They don't have to be bear-shaped, but you want to use the gummies that are kind of soft. Next, you're going to need a tool to measure your gummy bears with. I chose to use a measuring tape, but a ruler, etc. will work just fine. And finally, if you have it at your home, a kitchen scale. Now it has to be pretty sensitive because gummy bears are not very heavy, but it is pretty cool to be able to weigh them. And also you're going to need some clear containers. I chose to use glass ones, like a jar, to put your gummy bears and your water inside of. Now, this is how you get started. Let's take a look at the scientific method. Our first step is to observe around us and figure out what we want to learn more about. Now, this experiment's already kind of set up, but what you can do is maybe make some observations about the gummy bears. Hey Thea, what do you notice about the gummy bear? How does it feel?
Sticky.
Sticky, interesting. And is it hard or soft?
Soft.
What do you think it could be made out of?
Syrup.
Syrup, maybe those are all great observations. Is there anything you want to say about the gummy bear that you notice or observe?
It's shaped like a bear.
It's shaped like a bear. So that's a way to start with making an observation. Now our next step is question. Now for this experiment, I already have the questions. And the question is, what will happen to the gummy bear if I put it in water? Will anything happen? I don't know. So that's the question. And now next we have our research and our hypothesis. Now I could go online, research what gummy bears are made of, how they're made, that sort of thing. But to keep it simple, all my research is going to do, or be, is to look at the ingredients. Should we see what's inside our gummy bear? I'm not going to read them all. But the first thing is glucose syrup, interesting, sugar, gelatin, palm oil. So there's all sorts of different things. So if I wanted to maybe Google some of these ingredients and see what their attributes are like, I could. But for this experiment, I'm not going to. That's just my research. Now I have to make a hypothesis. So my question was, what is going to happen to the gummy bear if it's put in water and left there for a while? Now, my hypothesis is based on my research what I think is probably going to happen. My guess is the gummy bear is going to break apart. That's my hypothesis, that if I put the gummy bear in water, it's going to break apart. What do you think is going to happen, Thea?
It gets bigger and smaller.
Ooh, Thea thinks maybe the gummy bear is going to get bigger and smaller. So if you want to, you can have a journal, like a science journal, or just even a piece of paper. I have this paper and clipboard where you can write down your hypothesis about what you think is going to happen. Now that we have our hypothesis, we have to do our experiment. So first, we need to gather some data. I measured the gummy bear to see how long it was using my tool, and it was 1.25 inches. Now, if I wanted to be extremely thorough, I would have measured each gummy bear, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to measure one. And I'm also going to use my special scale to weigh it, and it weighed 2.23 grams. Now that I have that information, I'm going to take my gummy bear, and first I'm going to put it in regular tap water, and then to add some more variables, I put it into water that had salt in it, salt water. Now obviously I didn't do this just now. I did this yesterday afternoon, about 24 hours ago. And so they've been sitting on our counter and we've been watching them. And we have 3 gummy bears. This gummy bear we're not going to do anything with. It's our control to kind of just see what happens. Next, we have our water gummy bear. This is the one that just is in tap water. And then here is our saltwater gummy bear. Now, if you want to, and you want to get crazy, you could do different liquids. You don't just have to do water. And you could do sugar water. You could do shampoo. You could do, what's another liquid that we could put it in maybe?
Orange
Juice, orange juice. So it doesn't just have to be two things. To keep our experiment kind of simple, we chose just to do 2 different types of liquid. Now, since we have had the luxury of doing this before, let's see what our results are. And that is the next and final one, analysis and conclusion. So let's see what happened in our experiment and then see if our hypothesis was correct. Now, if you don't want to know and you don't want your experiment, you want it to be a surprise, maybe stop the video now. But if you're curious and you want to see what happened with our gummy bears, keep watching. All right, so let's see, Theia. First, let's take out, yes.
Can we take the gummy bear out of the water?
Sure, here, let me get this out of the way. So why don't you take it out? I'm already noticing the gummy bear looks so different. Wow, here. Can I hold it up, Theia? I don't even know if I can. I'm noticing it is so much, here, we might, it's so jiggly. Let's see
This one out.
the difference between the 2 gummy bears. Wow, what do you notice, Theia?
That one's bigger and this one's smaller.
So our gummy bear that was in the tap water got bigger. And look, it didn't, my hypothesis was that it was going to break apart. It didn't really break apart, but some parts of it did kind of come off a little bit. So that is what happened
Can I take this one out?
with our regular tap water gummy bear. Now, to be careful, I'm going to put this down. And let's see this saltwater gummy bear. Is it going to be the same or will it be different? Do you want some help?
Mm-hmm. Hard.
All right, I'm already noticing this looks a little different. Ooh. What are you noticing, Theia?
You can't really see any parts.
Ooh, so the gummy bear, you can't really see any parts because it's expanded. So the arms and legs all have gotten lost. Ooh, and it's really slippery. And so you can also see, guess what? Are the tap water gummy bear and the saltwater gummy bear exactly the same? No, the tap water gummy bear is actually larger than the saltwater gummy bear.
Well, can I hold both of them?
Yeah, and Theia, how do they feel in comparison to our regular gummy bear that just sat out on the counter?
This one's just kind of more slippery than this one.
Okay, wow. So that is all the stuff that we observed. And now what we could do, or we will do next, is weigh our gummy bears. Let's try, because that one broke, which is kind of my hypothesis.
Maybe you'll weigh it.
Yeah, we're gonna weigh, let's see how much our gummy bear with the water weighs. Gotta get our scale ready. Whoa, so remember what I said? It had weighed 2.23 grams before. Now it weighs 4.53 grams. So it's heavier. Why do you think? We're not gonna weigh that one, love, because unfortunately it fell apart. Which do you think, why do you think it got heavier, Theia?
Because it was in water.
Wow, so the water got absorbed into the gummy bear and it expanded. Theia's hypothesis was that it was going to get bigger and then smaller again. So your hypothesis was partially right. The gummy bears, both of them, did get bigger. Mine was that the gummy bears were going to break apart, which was kind of right. The tap water gummy bear didn't break apart, but the saltwater gummy bear kind of did. Now, we just did this over 24 hours, but I'm curious what would happen if we left the gummy bears in the water for even longer. Anyway, that is our conclusion of our use of the scientific method when we were doing an experiment. And I would love for you to see what your results are. You can change the experiment any way you want. This is just kind of a nice framework to do some science at home. All right, my friends, thank you so much for going on this journey with me. Hopefully I will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.